me. All right, Microsoft, the #2 console seller behind Nintendo and its Wii, and it's hoping the body sensor will give it the edge to boost sales. But Sony and Nintendo also are searching for the next big thing. Our Cris Valerio live at the E3 conference out in Los Angeles with Kaufman Bros industry analyst Todd Mitchell, who's been taking it all in with Cris. Cris, over to you.
Thanks, Carol. Well, Todd, I guess the first thing I have to ask, because we both came out of the building behind us from the event, what was the biggest surprise for you from an analyst standpoint?
The biggest surprise was probably the new form factor for the Xbox.
We spoke a little bit with the COO of Xbox, and we talked to him a little bit about the price of the Kinect, right? And he said, you know, he's kind of waiting. It's a really competitive environment, doesn't really want to come out with it. Where do you think the pricing is going to fall? And is each company waiting for the other to come out with their pricing?
I think there's a bit of that. Industry pundits have said that it'll be over 100, 150. The Microsoft peripheral is a little bit more sophisticated than the Sony and is expected to cost a little bit more.
The other thing that they announced, and I wanted to kind of get your take on it, was the new ESPN partnership. One of the things, obviously, that they're trying to do with that is kind of increase their paying members. Do you think that that's going to help? Do you have any idea of how much that might increase those memberships, and will that help the overall margins?
I think that's a clear driver, and I think it's bigger than just increasing their paid memberships. I think what they're trying to do is make the Xbox an alternative for all sorts of home entertainment. Really, over-the-top service is an alternative to your cable company, almost.
Hey, Todd, I want to go back to something Cris was asking you in terms of how much Kinect will add to Microsoft's bottom line. Goldman's got a number of it could add $1.6 billion to revenue in the fiscal year starting July 1 and $2 billion in the year after that. What are your numbers? Are they pretty much comparable with Goldman?
Something, I don't actually cover Microsoft. That sounds a little aggressive to me, but it will be material.
I want to know, Cris and Todd, about this Kinect controller. I mean, does it really work very well? Could you, for instance, do kickboxing, or Carol would probably do yoga with this? Would it work out?
Well, the issue with the Kinect is that there is no handheld, and so one of the things that everybody's wondering is how do you integrate it with the core games? And that we frankly did not see much about it. There's a lot of stuff that looks a lot like the Wii. I thought the dance game from Harmonic was very, very interesting. But how do you use a shooter when you have nothing to point?
How do you shoot somebody is the main question,
I was pointing out the dance game. Matt was making fun of the dance game.
I mean, that seems to be the question, and the question is Sony come up with a better alternative? Because they use part camera and a hand controller.
Final question here: how important is this online connectivity? How much do you see these gamers really continuing to build that up?
Online is very important. All of this is very important. What all of this is to do is to broaden the audience with these new controllers and lengthen the console period and bring in new forms of revenue like the ESPN deal.
Todd Mitchell, analyst for Kaufman Bros. Thank you so much. Back to you guys.
All right.